You can't still join the.
I don't like this.
Yeah. Hi everyone.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lagos Model United Nations 2020, the first virtual conference of its kind. And we are so excited to have you here
Very
today.
excited.
My name is Tobiloba Ajayi, and with me is
Dorothy Akin Taylor.
and we will be your hosts for this opening ceremony. We've come a long way.
Mhm.
Oh my God,
A very long way.
we've come a very long way.
Yep. So we've come a very, very long way, actually, we were saying.
And we are so happy that we're finally at the end of I won't say at the end of the journey, but at the beginning of the end.
The beginning of an exciting time.
A very, very exciting time. We have an amazing conference or ceremony planned for you today. I mean, this conference is going to be so amazing. We have the idea fair, we have the school fair, we have the leadership discussion. I mean, and the committee sessions promise to be, it's going to blow your mind. And we are.
You know, one very exciting thing is the fact that the team, the staff, everyone has been ready and prepared for this. So you're in for an exciting time. I was talking to Toby before and I said, we're not going to offer you a Ferrari like Otedola did for Copy, but we're here to offer you an exciting time. A very engaging conference.
I mean, the staff, they put in so much work since last year. And today we're going to see the efforts and all their preparation play out. And so without further ado, we're inviting the Dean of the Faculty of Law in person of Professor Ayo Asenua to give the opening address. Well, I'll say a virtual round of applause for her, seeing as we can't give a physical one, but a virtual round of applause for her as she gives the opening address.
Thank you very much, moderators. It truly is a very special day, and it gives me great pleasure to be here to welcome everyone to the 2020 edition of the Lagos Model United Nations. I guess it's extra special because it's happening in the post-COVID era. It's virtual. When the team started to plan last year towards this year, I'm sure it never occurred to them that they would be planning a virtual meeting, and I'm sure it probably never occurred to them that such is even possible at all. But those are some of the beneficial fallouts of COVID-19, that we actually are able to do things that we never thought we could do before and get advantage of spreading our wings so widely and embracing a lot more than we would have been able to do in the past. So with that said, I want to say that it gives me great pleasure to welcome every single one of you, the entire United Nations Secretariat, the delegates of the various member countries, state parties of the United Nations, and of course, other stakeholders, representatives of other communities that are here present at this simulation edition of the United Nations system. It's the General Assembly itself and then the organs of the United Nations. We are particularly proud each year that we have this outing because it enlivens us and makes us know that our students are definitely globally competitive and that our students will have a lot to offer the world even in the coming years. The Lagos Model United Nations is an initiative of the students of the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, started in 2016. So this makes it its 5th edition. And what is really enthusing about it is that this is an initiative that is largely and very largely organized by students. Yes, the team does have the Lagos Model United Nations team within the faculty, does have a staff advisor, but essentially I would say that much of what we see is student-led, student initiative, and we are extremely proud. We're proud that we have another opportunity to look at the SDGs. We're proud that the youths from the University of Lagos and other institutions within and outside Nigeria will be coming together again to apply, to put on their own lenses and actually contribute to what is global discourse. And through that, we begin to reshape our world. I welcome you once again on behalf of the management of the University of Lagos to the next 5 days, which I am sure will be very exciting. Beyond the Lagos Model United Nations, you also have the Ideas Fair, and I am sure that from the ideas fair will definitely come some solid ideas. I am one person who does believe that ideas have consequences. The world to date has been shaped by ideas, and the more ideas that we provide a platform for airing and supporting, the more likely that our world is going to get changed even for the better. To the Secretary General of the United Nations and the entire Secretariat, I say, kudos, well done for a very good job. To our dear partners who continue to make this possible year in, year out, we are extremely grateful of the support you give to our students that enables them to put their best foot forward and to do, to show the world what stuff that they are made of. And of course, to the delegates representing various countries of the world, but drawn from various universities, I welcome you to next 5 days of excitement, and I wish that you the best. I hope that you realize your dreams and your desires, you network and you make friends. Thank you very much for coming. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that wonderful address. Another round of applause virtual for the most amazing dean, for the most amazing faculty in the University of Lagos. We're very thankful for the support that you've given us over the years, and we are so grateful that we have the opportunity in a time like this, as you said, a special time, to be able to adapt and move forward regardless of the, let's say, circumstances, and we're able to hold this conference, and we could not have done this without your support. And as you so rightly mentioned, yes, LMUN is largely run by the students, but we've also had an amazing, pillar of support from the faculty, which includes you and the next person that will be giving our opening remarks.
And this next person is an outstanding woman, our one and only staff advisor for Lagos Model United Nations. She was a staff advisor to the team who came or won the Honorable Mention Award at Washington, D.C., the National Model United Nations Conference. And also, she led the team that won Outstanding Delegation Award, the first school to ever do that from Africa at the United Nations, the National Model United Nations Conference in New York, 2019. And none other than Dr. Kemi Omotubura to give us her address.
A virtual round of applause, please. At this point, I think we're having a little glitch. It seems that Dr. Kemi Omotura is not logged in at the moment. We apologize.
I can.
Think she
Hello?
is, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Doctor, we're so happy to have you here with us. All right.
That was a technical glitch. It wasn't my fault.
You're looking very good, man.
Yeah, so I listened to you thoroughly. So I heard everything. Thank you very much for the introduction. So the Secretary General, LMUN 2020, entire secretariat, LMUN 2020, a keynote speaker, speakers, the Dean, Faculty of Law, our distinguished delegates and guests, our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. I would just like to join the Dean in welcoming you to this fifth and unique session of the Lagos Model United Nations Conference, hosted by the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. We are welcoming, I understand, is about 234 delegates, and our conference is completely virtual. So this is a landmark achievement for us, and it's a great one. And the theme of this conference, the last decade, collaborative policy, finance, and technological development towards the 2030 agenda is out. And I say that because this is the best time to explore collaboration in these important areas of policy, finance, and technology at the time when the world is facing the COVID-19 pandemic, the unprecedented challenges posed by the pandemic. And of course, what better forum to explore the collaborative opportunities than a conference like the LMUN with delegates that are young, enthusiastic, and intelligent global citizens. So the very fact, of course, that the conference organizers defied all odds to host a big conference such as this already speaks of the innovativeness, the resilience, and the determination to find solutions to pressing global world problems by your generation, the generation that is charged with and is at the forefront of actualizing the sustainable development goals. So I wish you fruitful deliberations, and I charge you to put in your very best at this conference. Once again, welcome.
Thank you very much to our staff advisor, Dr. Kemi Omotubura, always available for us, always supportive, and always pushing for excellence. We're very grateful. So guys, we hope you're enjoying this opening ceremony, and then we're going to fast track this and get this even deeper. And so we have an amazing guest who Toby will be introducing to us very shortly.
All right, then, so the person that we have, our keynote address will be given by Miss, I want to make sure that I do not mispronounce this, Miss Betty Kari Murungi, yes, Betty Kari Murungi. Miss Betty Kari Murungi is a peace and justice advocate. She was educated at the University of Nairobi and the Kenya School of Law. She's a past victim fellow at the Human Rights Program, Harvard Law School. Murungi has broad experience in transitional justice processes, women's human rights, gender, constitutionalism, and governance, with a particular focus on international human rights in the context of violent conflicts, with experience in international criminal justice and accountability mechanisms. She has worked in Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Northern Uganda, South Sudan, and her native country, Kenya. Ms. Murungi served as the Vice Chairperson and the Commissioner to Kenya Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission from the year 2009 to 2010, as the Africa representative on the Board of Directors of the Trust Fund for Victims at the International Criminal Court. From 2009 to 2013, She has served as the Senior Transitional Justice Advisor to the Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, JMEC, in South Sudan from 2016 to 2018. She has also served as a member of the Independent Commission of Inquiry for the Occupied Palestinian Territory, appointed by the United Nations Human Rights Council from July 2018 to March 2019. In June 2020, she was appointed as a professor of practice at the Center for Gender Justice at the SOAS, University of London. Ladies and gentlemen, staff, everybody, delegates, join me in welcoming Miss Betty Kari Murungi, who will be giving us the keynote address.
A virtual round
of applause for her, please. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am so sorry, I've just been added as a panelist. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
we can. Yes, we can.
All right, now I'm just trying to figure out how you can see me, because I can see, hello, there I am.
Hi, we can see you now. Hi.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Looking
I've been listening to the speeches. Professor Ayodele, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Dr. Kemi, Mr. Abel Nearing, Mr. Oluseyi. I'm really excited to join this panel and to be speaking to you on this, the first day of the LMUN. A little bit about my history with the Model United Nations. I have 3 grown-up children, and all of them participated in MUN right through their college years. So this, when Shemi asked me to speak at this conference, I was very excited, and I happily accepted to speak at the opening. Now, at the beginning of this year, we were all really excited. 2020 heralded a lot of optimism, you know, around, you know, the many commemorations that we're going to be having in 2020. You will all recall that this is the year we're celebrating 25 years after the Beijing conference. We were also going to commemorate 20 years after UN Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. We were commemorating the end of the decade for women, the Africa Union. So it was a really sort of exciting new year, and there was a buzz, you know, that attends the beginning of any new decade. And this was a decade of action towards achieving the SDGs. And I think many of us in the academy, in women's human rights, in diplomatic circles, as young people that are attending this conference, many of us were really excited about the promise of 2020 and how we were all going to be contributing to make these achievements. So the excitement was almost palpable at the beginning of the year. There were several exciting campaigns that were launched in 2019 in anticipation of the upcoming commemorations. Generation Equality and Generation Equality Africa was launched by UN Women. And this campaign was demanding equal pay, equal sharing of unpaid care and domestic work, an end to sexual harassment, an end to sexual violence, and all forms of discrimination against women and girls. It was a campaign that was demanding better healthcare services that responded to the needs of everyone, including especially the needs of young people and persons with disabilities. it was a campaign that called for the participation of young people, women, and persons living on the margins of society in the political life of their nations and in decision making in all areas of life. Young women and men of Africa met in Abidjan last August in 2019 and launched what they called the Generation Equality Africa. And in this meeting, which I was privileged to attend and to facilitate, the young people that were gathered, it was both men and women. This meeting was called under the auspices of the African Development Bank, UN Women, and the government of the Côte d'Ivoire. The young people that were gathered there made a powerful call for action, and in which they said that they are not just beneficiaries of government policies, and they are not to be seen as just vulnerable bystanders, but in fact, they were active citizens, and they demanded to be involved in very much what was going on in terms of policy development, in terms of carrying out the programs that the governments were planning, getting involved in the implementation of the SDGs, but more particularly, being really active, involved citizens, taking account, of course, that on the continent, we have varying, how do you say, we have varying context. There are varying contexts. Some nations are better off economically than others. Others have advanced in terms of gender equality, in terms of representation. But one thing was clear is that the participation of young people, the people that are gathered for this conference, was very, very limited. And this Generation Equality Africa said that, you know what, this is the time, this is the decade when we're going to change all that. UNICEF has also launched, and I think launched in 2019, I'm not sure the exact time, but maybe the Consul General can tell us, because I know the Kingdom of the Netherlands is an active partner in this. They launched something they dubbed the Generation Unlimited. Now, this Generation Unlimited, again, aims to ensure that all young people between the ages of 10 and 24 are in school. That's a particularly big problem, because we can be active citizens, but if we're not getting an education, it's not going to be possible to be really active citizens. And this Generation Unlimited, which they call hashtag GenU, is especially important, I think, for Africa. Because on our continent, young people under 25 make up between 50% and 70% of the population. In Nigeria, you're not yet there, because the estimates I've seen is that by the year 2030, young people under the age of 25 will be 50% of your population. But in Rwanda right now, and in my own country, Kenya, young people are 60 to 75% of the population, young people under the age of 75. So, we know that in fact, it is young people who are going to make any change, who are going to effect change for human development, who are going to make the change that is going to get us to a place where we can have equality, where we can have justice, and so on. Now, this year also began the Decade of Action, what you're calling in your theme, the last decade. And this last decade, of course, is the last decade of action towards getting to our goal. In January of 2020, we were making good progress implementing the SDGs, and then the COVID-19 pandemic struck. Now, this pandemic has set back progress on almost all areas of human development. Global economies and health systems have suffered under the enormous strain of responding to the pandemic. All aspects of our lives have been turned upside down almost. We have seen a decline in human security, including housing, food security, and personal security. The negative effects of climate change in Africa, it has been flooding and the locust invasions in Eastern and the Horn of Africa. All of this has exacerbated the effects of the pandemic. In fact, what I saw in a report by Bill and Melinda Gates, what they're calling the mutually exacerbating catastrophes. All of these mutually exacerbating catastrophes have really sort of undermined the progress that we're making in terms of, towards implementation of our SDGs and towards just making sure that we're making progress on all areas of our human endeavor. But I want to say, as I go towards closing my remarks, the pandemic, although it is responsible for this unforeseen deceleration, it has nevertheless provided an opportunity, I think, for our global community and communities of youth to innovate and to prioritize action. And your theme for this conference speaks to this, collaborative policy, and the two speakers before me have alluded to this, collaborative policy, financing, and technological development. And these are areas, I think, where young people, the youth, have a particular advantage. Partly because in many areas, and in not all countries on the continent, but certainly in Nigeria, you have been at the forefront of innovating in the arts and in the sciences. You have advanced, a very advanced economy. We see young Nigerian innovators everywhere. From your University of Lagos, in fact, we have many innovators that have graduated from this university. And everywhere on the continent where I have been, the greatest innovations are actually coming from your neck of the woods. So whereas young people, I think, are facing many economic and socio-cultural challenges, the types of skills needed to get us out of this morass is also in the hands of the young people. And so I want to encourage you that you think about technological changes in your conversations this coming week, how you're going to make sure that the many jobs that are going to be vulnerable to automation, that you're also going to create opportunities in there for youth. And it's really, what we've learned is that even as we're responding as particular nations, the responses to this pandemic and to a post-COVID recovery of our economies is going to be a global response. So whilst you're working in Nigeria to make your own responses, be sure that you'll also be able to share your innovations with the rest of the world, certainly with us in East Africa. I wanted to say that in today's world in which we are more connected than ever technologically, young people, of course, are in a better place to leverage those skills. I saw recently in Nigeria, there was a campaign that was really initiated by young people. The marches were led by young people. And this was a campaign against violence on young women and girls. And it was run under the hashtag, We Are Tired. And I think what we saw from that, kind of leveraging your own influence and technological know-how to run that campaign, is that it resulted in policy action. We saw your governors, I think from 36 states, come up to declare national emergencies around violence against women. We saw laws being adopted. We saw registers of sexual offenders being initiated in several states. And I think that is something that caught traction across the continent, and other people are beginning to now think, other countries are beginning to think how they can also utilize those types of initiatives and introduce policies that offer protection to young women and girls. I want to end by just saying that, yes, we can do all this, but there are important issues that I think as young people you want to consider in terms of engaging with not just governments, but engaging with multilateral institutions such as the United Nations, the African Union, ECOWAS, and other regional institutions. You want to be thinking about the issue around implementation and accountability. That is important. How do we hold our governments accountable for the implementations of laws, national laws, and international commitments that they have committed themselves to in all of these instruments that they accede to and that they ratify? As MUN, I know you'll be looking at, in your committees, you'll be looking at all the fancy and all the very detailed commitments that have been made. Look around the question on whether there has been accountability in the implementation of those commitments. The second thing, as young people who are living on the African continent, you have to think around ending impunity for violations of human rights. I know this is going to be an important focus of your work over the next few days. And this is linked to the first point I made around accountability and implementation. The third thing, because of your theme, I thought I would bring to your attention is the question of resources. How resources, both national and natural, are utilized for the advantage and to the betterment of communities and societies. And how do you use those resources, especially resources for technology, in rural communities in order to bridge the digital divide? Right now, we're having this conference digitally, but the people who are participating are the people who have access to technology. There are many young people who would want to participate, but who cannot because they do not have connectivity. So how do you utilize those resources to bridge that digital divide? And when you think about the digital divide, think too about how women and girls are excluded. If you look at the percentages, you will find that actually of the percentages, less than 25% of young women are connected to the internet. And then there's also the other adverse question that you must look at is how also this technology is being used as a tool of violence against women and girls. So those are important questions. Lastly, I want to talk about meaningful participation. As you think about what it is that you're doing in this MUN, what does it actually mean for young people to be meaningfully engaged in intergovernmental processes? Okay, now COVID has changed everything. And so actually, because of bridging that technological divide, we may be able to get more people to meaningfully participate in intergovernmental processes such as the processes of the United Nations, the processes of our regional commissions, the processes of the African Union, than before, when it was even difficult for young people to get visas to travel, let alone be meaningfully engaged in some of these processes. And then, of course, to end, there's a whole question of working with private sector and working, demanding that the private sector and non-governmental institutions engage young people meaningfully, not as tokens to say that, yes, we have X number of people, young people who have participated in our programs, but how do you actually meaningfully engage these young people in some of these private sector initiatives? Private sector, should be called upon to make intentional commitments that address the factors that diminish young people's capacities to meaningfully engage. So with 1.8 billion young people in the world, and with, I think, half of those young people on the African continent, and many of those young people in Nigeria. I think you have your work cut out for you. But you know, you are the generation that is destined to take this next decade to the next level, to take us to the next level of human development, to take us to the next level of ensuring equality for all, and in ensuring that we have justice in this world. I thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from the other panelists and to following your conference over the next few days. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our speaker, Betty Murungi. Spoke about accountability, implementation, talking about the divide in the access to the internet and the use of it, meaningful use of our resources, and how we have 1.8 billion young people, and half of those being on the African continent. And one thing that struck me is how you said we have our work cut out for us, and we are that generation that will take a step in ensuring that we get to the next level. We're that generation that will bring about the change that we need. And that's one thing that LMUN has been for, raising a generation that will cause meaningful change and cause a change in the way we do things in Africa and the world at large. So thank you very much, ma'am. A virtual round of applause for Betty Murungi. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
At this point, I want to say thank you to all our invited guests, all our guests, all our partners, previous staff. We want to say a big thank you for joining us on this conference, this first virtual conference. So I'll hand over to Toby.
Yeah, so we just want to, well, a mini shout out to all our past staff members. I can see Ipinu here, was the past Secretary General for LMU in 2019. I see Zulu Walla. I see hi Zulu. I see Sheon Brima. I'm seeing Pearl. That's from like the first LMUN, our first DSG. We're so happy to have you guys here. I see Toby Olasonya, I see Nadine. I can see Idi Baribawo. Olamide, Shalabomi. We're so excited to have you guys here with us. We're grateful.
I think at this point we should also say one more shout out to Betty Murungi. She's looking very beautiful all the way from I think from Kenya.
We're so excited to have you all here with us today. Thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you, guys.
So before we call our ASG1 to give our opening remarks, we just want to, give a mini shout out also to our delegates. I'm just going to be calling random people. I see Daniel Demehi. I see Deborah Ayinla. Let's see, random. I'm seeing Oba Lasky, Oladiti Favor, Salome Ono. Okay, let me pronounce Olonode. We're just happy to have our delegates here with us. Thank you so much for joining the ceremony. We promise that you're going to have a wonderful conference this week.
Amazing one.
And without further ado, I will be introducing a person, someone very special and a very important part of the conference that we have this year. No other than Shemilore Olowokure. She is the Assistant Secretary General 1, in charge of partnerships for LMUN 2020. Shemilore started her LMUN journey in 2017, where she was a delegate for Afghanistan in General Assembly 1. In 2017, she was a researcher for the United Nations Environmental Assembly. In 2019, she was the Assistant Chief of Staff for LMUN 2019. And this year, she's the Assistant Secretary General for LMUN 2020.
Started from the bottom.
And now we're here. We're so excited to have you. A virtual round of applause for Shemilore Olowokure as she gives her address. Shemi, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Toby and Turity, for that nice introduction. Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes,
great.
we can.
Thank you for that introduction. So the Dean of my faculty, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, Professor Ayodele Atsenwa, our ever supportive staff advisor, Dr. Kemi Omotubora, Vice Consul Abel Nearing, Mrs. Betty Murungi, invited guests, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Over the past 13 months, we have had a vision to make the 5th edition of the LMUN conference particularly remarkable. On the road to achieving this vision, we were met with some surprises, a major one being the outbreak of a pandemic, which led to us hosting this unconventional virtual LMUN conference. I am extremely happy today to finally see our conference a reality. And all of this would not be possible without a set of individuals who have sacrificed their time and effort into making today possible. A set of individuals who are committed to being global citizens. A set of individuals who stuck with us till the very end. The LMUN team is a truly remarkable team. And I wish I could call out everybody by name, but I can't because of want of time. But wherever we are, can we please give the LMUN 2020 team a round of applause, because they truly deserve it. They have truly worked hard for today to be possible. And the Lagos Mother United Nations thanks you. We are grateful for your sacrifice, and we can't wait to see you do more exploits. And we are happy and proud to say that you belong to us, to say that you are one of our own. To our delegates, we thank you for taking this step towards being change makers. Over the next 5 days, we truly hope that you have an amazing, remarkable LMUN experience. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much to our Assistant Secretary General 1, Shemilore Olokore. So we'll be moving on to the keynote address by the Vice Consul Economic Affairs at the Consulate General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Lagos, Abel Nearing, and I'll read his citation now. Abel has been working for the Dutch government since the start of his career in different occupations. Previously, Abel worked at the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, RVO, implementing agency for the Dutch Ministry of Economic Affairs and the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs. During his time at the RVO, he has contributed to the inception of the Orange Corners program, and he has supported the embassies of Nigeria and Angola and Senegal with different development of a private sector development strategy and affiliated projects since February 2020. He has started in the position of Vice Consul Economic Affairs at the Consulate General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Lagos. In this occupation, he is responsible for private sector development and the promotion of Nigerian-Dutch business cooperation. Circular economy, ICT, sustainable development, and sustainable cities and youth entrepreneurship are topics he is particularly proactively engaging in on behalf of the consulate. Delegates, staff, please welcome our keynote speaker, Vice Consul Economic Affairs at the Consulate General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Abel Nearing. A virtual round of applause, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for these warm words. First, I would like to start with a big shout out as well to Mrs. Murungi. She already touched upon many topics I actually also want to talk about. Let me also start with thanking you for this opportunity to speaking here. I'm honored to provide this speech to you and to the Lagos Model United Nations. Okay, let me start with stressing the importance of this conference. International dialogue and cooperation have always been of crucial importance. for example, for peacekeeping, dispute resolution, and the promotion of economic growth, to name a few. Nowadays, the importance of international cooperation has only increased. We are living in a world that's just connected by glass fiber, internet, and airplanes, making it easy and relatively cheap to get connected with the other side of the world. But challenges like climate change and, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been discussed already, cannot be solved without international cooperation, policy, and agreements. Today's international decision-making will have far-reaching consequences for the future. Continuing in the traditional way the world economy is structured will lead to disasters that will be felt all around the world. Investing in green alternatives will cost money now, but has a large potential for creating employment and economic growth while sustaining natural ecosystems and improving human living conditions. Nevertheless, the most important voice is often missing in these crucial decision-making processes. I'm talking about the voice of almost 50% of nowadays population, the voice of the next generation, the voice of youth, your voice, and considering my age, also my voice. Let me continue with a personal anecdote. When I started my position in Lagos in February this year, I was introduced to many people by our Consul General. And one time, the Consul General introduced me to a CEO of a Nigerian company. After shaking my hand and a surprised look in my direction, the CEO directed himself to the Consul and said, "Well, they're getting younger and younger, aren't they?" Indirectly meaning that I was supposedly too young for the job. Let me add that this is not specific to Nigeria. I also have experienced these kinds of examples in the Netherlands, my home country. By this example, I don't want to claim that our generation already knows everything. And I also don't want to claim that the next president should be below 20. However, our generation can learn a lot, and our generation can learn a lot from generations before ours, both in achievements and failures. However, I want to claim that youths are a large and important group that are often overlooked because they are supposedly too young to be taken seriously. Our generation will have to deal with the consequences, positive or negative, of the international policy decisions that are made today. The fresh and innovative ideas of our generation are therefore crucial to include in today's policy-making decisions. On a positive note, the amount of young people in influential positions is increasing, and also their contribution to today's challenges. To contribution in solving today's challenges. This is especially noteworthy in the startup and the tech scene. The tech sector is a fast-growing sector worldwide, and in Nigeria, the tech sector is currently even the biggest contributor to the GDP. Tech entrepreneurs are mostly youngsters with innovative ideas, active in various sectors, from agriculture to justice. This in itself provides positive prospects for the future. The combination of technology, entrepreneurship, and innovative ideas is not only vital for sustainable and economic growth, but also for strengthening the international justice system. Simple tech-enabled mobile application can improve access to justice or government transparency. The facilitation of young entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs, combining entrepreneurial spirit with technology and innovative ideas, is therefore of crucial importance to solve today's and tomorrow's challenges and to achieve the goals set out in the 2030 agenda. The only way to create an enabling environment for young entrepreneurs and to promote green innovations is to collaborate over borders, sectors, and disciplines. The Netherlands is famous for its collaborative policy approach. We call this the Dutch Diamond approach, fostering collaboration between the government, private sector, knowledge institutions, and civil society for the creation of a conducive business environment and the exchange of information between different ecosystem actors. This is also how the Netherlands approaches the international economic and cooperation agenda for all focus sectors such as agriculture, circular economy, water, ICT, and youth empowerment. Let me provide 2 examples. Our Orange Corners program in Lagos is providing incubation for 20 young and innovative entrepreneurs every 6 months. This program is implemented by Faith Foundation, a non-for-profit organization, and made in co-creation with our private partners, Friesland Campina, Nigerian breweries, Skretting, and First EMP. Providing financial and in-kind, sorry, I forgot to mention Ferrot Capital as well. Providing financial and in-kind support. Orange Corners is also collaborating with universities to promote entrepreneurship in education. And we organize ecosystem stakeholder dialogues to promote a conducive startup ecosystem. With regard to circular economy, a second example, we are currently setting up a circular business platform in Lagos, aimed at bringing stakeholders together from the private sector, knowledge institutions, the civil society, to exchange knowledge, find like-minded partners, and create a shared agenda for making Lagos more circular. In conclusion, to achieve the goals set out in the 2030 agenda, a multi-stakeholder approach is essential. The government can only create a conducive regulatory policy framework while listening to the private sector, knowledge institutions, and civil society. Knowledge institutions need to cooperate closely with the private sector to set a research agenda aimed at economically profitable green innovations, and in order to develop an educational agenda that delivers graduates ready for the future and for the job market. And last, but certainly not least, policymakers need to listen to the next generation for making future-proof policies. Not only because it's concerning your future, but also because you are a valuable source for ideas and innovative solutions. The Lagos Model United Nations of today provides an opportunity to take a look in the kitchen of international policymaking, speak up, and actually influence UN decision-making. I wish you good luck, wisdom, and most importantly, a lot of fun today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much to our keynote speaker, Abel Nearing. A virtual round of applause. Thank you for dispensing so much wisdom and so much strategies on how to cost-effective change and take over. Thank you very much, sir. Next, we'll be having the Secretary General's address. And this amazing, hardworking, exceptional, and excellent young man started LMUN as a delegate at the Security Council representing the country of Russia. And then he rose to become a researcher and then served as the Assistant Chief of Staff and then eventually Chief of Staff of Lagos Model United Nations. And now he is the Secretary General of Lagos Model United Nations 2020. He has put in so much effort and has led this exceptional team to deliver the first of its kind, the first virtual conference of LMUN. Please, with a virtual round of applause, our Secretary General, Nelson Iheanacho.
Okay, good afternoon. I hope I can be heard. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, the Staff Advisor of Lagos Model United Nations 2020, Dr. Oluwakemi Omotobora, the faculty, lecturers such as Dr. Edefe Ejomo, Dr. Oluwashemilore Ifeoma, our keynote speakers, the Vice Consul Economic Affairs at the Consulate General of the Kingdom of Netherlands, Lagos, Mr. Abel Nearing, Mrs. Betty Murungi, past Secretary Generals, past Deputy Secretary Generals, past Assistant Secretary Generals, past Under Secretary Generals and Directors, past chairs, vice chairs, and other staff of Lagos Model United Nations, the energetic Upper Secretariat of Lagos Model United Nations 2020, my amazing staff members of Lagos Model United Nations 2020, our sponsors, our partners. Thank you very much for attending this opening ceremony. I am Ihanacho Nelson, the Secretary General of the Lagos Model United Nations 2020, the 5th session. In settings like this, it is customary to give long speeches which are targeted at wowing the audience and endearing the speaker to their hearts. Hence, I actually prepared a speech some days ago of that nature. But last night, in the midst of ensuring final arrangements for this conference, I pondered on a particular word, which our staff advisor has also used today. That word is resilience. Now, I know there is a dictionary meaning for the word resilience, but I would like to define it in my own style. Resilience is defined by the fact that LMUN has continuously made impact for 5 years and strives for more. Resilience is defined by the fact that our past secretariats have defied all odds to deliver amazing conference experiences. Resilience is defined by the fact that our amazing dean and staff advisor have not given up on us and have supported us all the way. Resilience is defined by the fact that the Lagos Model United Nations 2020, a traditionally physical conference, is holding on a virtual platform. Resilience is defined by the fact that the staff of LMUN 2020 were not deterred by the pandemic. Resilience is also defined by the fact that our sponsors and partners have stayed true to us through thick and thin. Resilience is defined by the fact that our speakers have joined us from different parts of the world, beating every odds against this particular opportunity. Resilience is seen in the fact that I've said the word resilience about 7 times now, and you, my wonderful audience, can still listen to me. Ladies and gentlemen, resilience is Lagos Model United Nations 2020, the 5th session. In 2020, humanity's fragility was tested by the pandemic, and it ensured that at the core of our existence, which is social interaction, suffered dearly. But we did not fret. We did not give up. My team embraced the task of holding a conference which defied social interaction, a virtual conference. And also we considered that there was a need for collaborative efforts to ensure that we tackle humanity's numerous challenges through achieving the sustainable goals. And this inspired this year's theme of the conference, the last decade, collaborative policy, finance, and technological development towards the 2030 agenda. Hence, in this particular year, we'll be simulating 11 committees selected from different organs and departments of the United Nations, including the General Assembly, the Peace, Security, and Human Rights Department, and the Development Department. At LMUN, we pride ourselves with coming up with relevant topics, which is why I would like to state that, as our keynote speaker has formally emphasized, there has to be a call for youths to take their place in global discourse to address several challenges that indeed plague us globally. Hence, the United Nations Environmental Assembly Committee in this conference will be dealing with the role of youths in achieving the climate change goal. And we at Lagos Model United Nations try as much as possible to address contemporary issues. Hence, I want to thank the Upper Secretariat, especially the Substance team, for coming up with these particular topics, for providing training and standard documents to help our delegates understand the core of these topics. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the best MUN experience yet to be seen, where we create an atmosphere which balances acquisition of knowledge with the need to have fun memories. LMUN 2020 will feature committee sessions, an idea fair, a school fair, an SDG workshop, a leadership interactive session, and social events to entertain our delegates, members of staff, and our sponsors. Now, I would like to tell you that I look forward to seeing every staff and every delegate as we begin this conference. So what you're going to do for me is to first turn on your video conference platforms, have bright smiles on your faces, and let us make global impact. If you have any form of concerns during the conference, reach out to us via our official emails, info@lmun.ng. This year, we have defied all odds. This year, we are doing the impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Lagos Model United Nations 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our Secretary General, Mr. Nelson Iheanacho. And he has said it, and he has said, I mean, there's nothing else to be said. This year, we're breaking limits, we're doing the impossible, and we're doing amazing. And so we want you guys to be excited, get ready for this journey. This is going to be very amazing. Thank you very much once again to our Secretary General for that very inspiring speech. And so we aspire to inspire and everything. So we know that this is going to be one conference that will change a lot of lives and actually bring about substantial change in so many areas that we'll be engaging in. So thank you very much once again, Nelson. Fasten your seatbelts, guys, because this journey is just about to start. It's just the opening ceremony, but there's much more to come in the coming days. Toby.
Definitely. We want to say thank you to all our partners. Thank you to all our invited guests. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to the delegates. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of this opening ceremony and is going to be a part of the unforgettable conference that we have planned out for you. Mm-hmm. At this juncture, we would invite Vice Consul Ewonering to declare the conference open.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, thanks again for the attention, and thanks for all the beautiful speeches that have been given and provided. As I already said, I find this is a very important conference. So don't let us wait any longer. Hereby, I declare the conference to be opened.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to our keynote speaker, Vice Consul Ibo Nearing. Thank you so much.
So delegates, you have heard, they have declared the conference open. Your dais cannot wait to meet you, and we cannot wait to see the deliberations and see your working papers and everything that's going to come out of the conference. At this juncture, we will close the opening ceremony and we welcome you to the best conference yet.
LMUN 2020. You've never seen anything like this before.
All right, then. Have a wonderful week ahead, guys. See you at the... Well, we have so many other events for the closing ceremony. The idea fair, the school fair, leadership,
and of course the closing ceremony.
Yes.
You don't want to miss that.
So see you guys then. Thank you so much.
My name is Turity Akintaylor.
Yes, my name is Tobiloba Ajayi, and thank you for being here today.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye.